We live under an unspoken commandment, a societal pressure that subtly dictates our lives. Thou shalt be exceptional. It's a pervasive expectation, woven into the fabric of our culture, influencing our choices and shaping our aspirations from a young age. This invisible rule pushes us to constantly strive for more, to achieve greatness, and to stand out from the crowd. But where does this pressure come from, and what are its consequences? From childhood, we're shown lives of dazzling success. We are presented with carefully curated narratives of individuals who have achieved extraordinary feats, whether in academics, sports, arts, or business. These stories, while inspiring, often create a skewed perception of reality, making us believe that exceptional achievement is the norm rather than the exception. And told that ordinary is not enough. The message is clear: to be truly valued, we must be exceptional. Mediocrity is frowned upon, and the pursuit of excellence becomes an unrelenting quest. This constant pressure to outperform others can lead to feelings of inadequacy, anxiety, and even burnout. This pressure starts in the classroom, follows us into our careers, and even seeps into our hobbies. What was once a source of joy and relaxation becomes another arena for competition and self-improvement. We feel compelled to master new skills, achieve personal bests, and constantly push our limits, even in our leisure time. We're urged to climb higher, earn more, and stand out. We are bombarded with messages that equate success with material wealth, social status, and public recognition. The pressure to conform to these external measures of worth can be overwhelming, leading us to chase after goals that may not align with our true values or passions. The problem isn't wanting to improve, but believing our worth depends on constant achievement. It's the insidious idea that our value as human beings is contingent upon our accomplishments, our accolades, and our external validation. This belief can lead to a relentless pursuit of success, driven by a deep-seated fear of being seen as inadequate or unworthy. We start to think value must be earned, proven, and defended through ever more impressive accomplishments. We become trapped in a cycle of constantly seeking external validation, striving to maintain our perceived worth through a never-ending stream of achievements. The modern world amplifies this, comparing us not just to neighbors, but to the most successful people everywhere. Their curated lives set impossible standards, making our normal lives feel like failures. We internalize this pressure, feeling we must have fascinating careers, perfect families, and rich inner lives. Anything less feels like defeat. But a life can be deeply good without being famous or extraordinary. The ordinary is not the enemy of the good, it's where goodness most often lives. Maybe it's time to remember that. Perhaps it's time to redefine our definition of success, to embrace the beauty and value of the ordinary, and to find contentment in the simple moments of life. It's time to break free from the unspoken commandment and discover the freedom of being authentically ourselves without the pressure to be exceptional. Striving to be exceptional, to constantly reach for that next level, comes at a cost. It demands sacrifices, often unseen and unacknowledged. We push ourselves harder, driven by an internal pressure to outperform, to exceed expectations, and to stand out from the crowd. But what is the true price of this relentless pursuit? What are we giving up in the process of chasing this elusive ideal of exceptionalism? It's like balancing on a narrow pedestal, always afraid to fall. One wrong step, one moment of weakness, and the carefully constructed image of success could crumble. The higher we climb, the more precarious the position becomes, and the greater the fear of losing it all. This constant anxiety can be exhausting, a heavy weight that we carry with us every day. The fear isn't just of failure, of not meeting the ever-increasing demands placed upon us, but of being discovered as ordinary. The fear that beneath the surface we are not as talented, as capable, or as deserving as others believe us to be. This fear can drive us to create a facade, a carefully crafted persona that hides our insecurities and vulnerabilities. Achievements bring only fleeting relief before expectations rise again. Each success becomes a new benchmark, a new standard to surpass. The finish line is never truly reached, and the pressure to maintain that level of achievement becomes a constant burden. This is why so many successful people feel like imposters, constantly doubting their abilities and fearing that they will be exposed as frauds. Exhausted by the performance, the constant need to project an image of competence and confidence, even when they feel anything but. The pursuit of exceptionalism can poison relationships, creating distance and resentment between those we care about, turning friends into rivals as we measure our own worth against their achievements, and successes into sources of envy, breeding jealousy and undermining genuine connection. It isolates us, trapping us in a lonely race for fulfillment that never arrives, a constant striving for something just beyond our reach. Worst of all, we lose touch with our authentic selves, becoming so focused on external validation that we forget who we truly are. Choosing paths for their prestige, not our joy, sacrificing our passions and interests for the sake of appearances. We neglect simple pleasures because they don't seem impressive, overlooking the beauty and richness of everyday moments in our pursuit of grand achievements. We become curators of a brand, carefully constructing an image of success and perfection for the world to see. Not inhabitants of a life lived authentically and fully, embracing both the joys and the challenges that come our way. The weight of constant excellence crushes the spontaneity, the freedom to be ourselves without judgment or expectation, and playfulness that make life rich, the ability to find joy in the simple things and to embrace the present moment. Isn't it time to step down? To release ourselves from the pressure of constant exceptionalism and embrace a more authentic, fulfilling life? In a world obsessed with perfection, where we're constantly bombarded with images of flawless achievements and unattainable ideals, it's easy to feel inadequate. We strive for that elusive perfect, often sacrificing our well-being in the process. But what if we dared to challenge this relentless pursuit? What if we embraced the liberating concept of good enough? Embracing good enough isn't giving up, it's liberation. It's freeing yourself from the shackles of unrealistic expectations and allowing yourself to breathe. It's about recognizing that striving for excellence is admirable, but obsessing over flawlessness is detrimental. It's permission to step off the pedestal of impossible standards, to release the pressure of constantly having to prove yourself, and stand on the solid ground of our own humanity. To acknowledge our imperfections, our vulnerabilities, and our inherent worthiness, regardless of our achievements. Perfection is an illusion, a mirage that constantly shifts and recedes as we chase after it. Our worth isn't tied to performance. We are not defined by our successes or failures, but by our character, our compassion, and our capacity for growth. Being good enough is a quiet rebellion against the tyranny of perfectionism, against impossible demands, both internal and external. It's a conscious choice to prioritize well-being over relentless striving. It means aiming for progress, not perfection, focusing on continuous improvement rather than unattainable ideals. Effort, not just victory. It's about valuing the journey, the learning process, and the dedication it takes to pursue our goals. A good enough parent loves consistently, providing a safe and nurturing environment without the pressure of being flawless. A good enough career provides and leaves room for life. It allows for balance, for personal pursuits, and for meaningful connections outside of work. This shift lets us be kinder to ourselves, extending the same compassion and understanding we would offer a friend. Quieting the inner critic, that relentless voice that constantly points out our flaws and shortcomings. Mistakes become opportunities, not verdicts. They are seen as valuable learning experiences, chances to grow and evolve. Gentleness with ourselves builds resilience, allowing us to bounce back from setbacks with greater ease and grace. The freedom of good enough is the freedom to be present, to fully engage in the moment without the distraction of self-criticism or the pressure to perform. We can enjoy the process, finding joy and satisfaction in the act of creation, not just the outcome. The focus shifts from achieving a perfect result to appreciating the journey and the lessons learned along the way. This happiness is quieter, less flashy than the fleeting euphoria of achieving perfection, but more real and accessible. It's a deep-seated contentment that comes from accepting ourselves, flaws and all. It's the freedom to live authentically, not just perform for an audience. It's the courage to be ourselves, imperfections and all, and to embrace the beauty of our own unique humanity. Comparison is a game we can never win. We measure our messy reality against others' highlight reels, especially on social media. We see only triumphs, not the struggles behind them, and fill the gaps with our own insecurities. This breeds envy, inadequacy, and isolation. We become blind to our own ordinary joys, overshadowed by imagined perfection. To escape, we must recognize comparison as a rigged game. Limit exposure to triggers, curate your feeds, take breaks. Most importantly, appreciate your own path. Your journey is unique. The only valid comparison is with who you were yesterday. Contentment comes from inward focus, not external measures. That's the key to peace. We're taught to hide our imperfections, but our flaws are what make us human. Like kintsugi, pottery repaired with gold, our cracks are part of our story. Our anxieties and mistakes show we've lived and survived. Accepting imperfection is the foundation of real self-esteem. When we stop hiding our flaws, we become more authentic and spontaneous. We can try, fail, and connect deeply with others. Vulnerability invites intimacy. Embracing our flaws also makes us more compassionate toward others. We see their struggles as part of their journey, not failings. This shift transforms relationships. Judgment becomes empathy, criticism becomes kindness. Communities built on acceptance, not perfection, are stronger. Our flaws are not blemishes but the gold in our story. Let's celebrate them. In chasing the exceptional, we overlook the joy in the ordinary. True contentment is found in small, everyday moments. The morning light, a warm jumper, a simple meal. These aren't grand, but they're real and available every day. To rediscover this joy, we must slow down and actually experience life. Take time to savor your coffee, notice the sky, or enjoy a quiet walk. It's not about ignoring ambition, but balancing it with appreciation for the present. A good life isn't something that starts in the future. It's lived now, in ordinary moments. By finding joy in daily routines, we build contentment that doesn't depend on validation or big events. Happiness is not a destination but a way of traveling. The ordinary is where life happens. Finding peace in a good enough life starts with the art of noticing. We rush through life, barely aware of the world around us. Noticing is the gentle act of bringing our attention to the present moment. It can happen anywhere. On a walk, washing dishes, listening to birds. Engaging our senses anchors us in the here and now. The familiar becomes fascinating. A leaf's veins, a spider's web, light on a puddle. This isn't forced positivity, just openness to what's in front of us. Attentiveness quiets the anxious mind and fosters gratitude for simple existence. Beauty is woven into the everyday, we just need to notice. This is a quiet rebellion against constant stimulation. It's a path back to a grounded, appreciative life. Much of our pressure comes from our own inner critic. This harsh voice magnifies our flaws and mistakes, rarely questioned. To be good enough, we must change this inner conversation. Start by noticing the critic's tone. Would you speak to a friend that way? Recognize it as an old, unhelpful habit, not truth. Introduce a second voice, compassion. When you fail, let the compassionate voice say, "You tried, that's okay. What can you learn?" Self-compassion is treating ourselves as we would a friend. Over time, the critic weakens and the compassionate voice grows. This inner kindness builds resilience and frees us from shame. It's the most important step toward peace with being good enough. Accepting a good enough life is a return to ourselves. Our worth isn't earned through achievement, it's inherent and unwavering. This brings freedom, to be average, ordinary, and beautifully human. We can choose paths for joy, not prestige. We're free from proving ourselves and can care more about connection than status. Meaning is found in small moments of kindness and understanding. Let's be gentle with ourselves and celebrate the good enough. The world will keep shouting for exceptionalism, but we can listen to a kinder voice within. We're already whole, already worthy, already enough. That's the ultimate freedom, to be simply, peacefully human.